Hey everybody, this is Matt Bergman from Learn, Lead, Grow. And how do you make presentations more accessible for your students? I mean, it's the very nature of teaching. We're going to have to give presentations from time to time, but it doesn't always work for every single student. So how can we help more students be able to access your presentation? Well, first of all, guided notes are a great resource that you can use. You could have physical guided notes on a worksheet, or you could even have a Google Doc. Having a live note taker is extremely important and helpful, and you could upload that to Google Slides, or I'm sorry, Google Classroom, or whatever learning management system you use afterwards. There are other features too to make it more accessible in the moment. For example, the closed captioning feature on Google Slides is really a game changer for many students. So if you go right down here in presentation mode, so once you have the presentation up, go to the three little dots and go to where it says captions preferences, and you can choose toggle captions. Now you can choose where your presentation closed captioning is going to go, up at the top or bottom, and how big the text size is. I'm going to make mine a little bit larger, and then I'm going to go right over here and turn it on. So look at what's happening right now. Up at the top of my screen, I'm going to have closed captioning working on my screen. It's great. So this might be an option for you to be able to use with your students, whether you might have a deaf student in your classroom, or perhaps you have English language learners, or somebody who might just need to see what you said because you spoke a little too fast. That is something that is free and you're able to use on Google Slides. So to get out of it, I'm going to hit escape. You could also record your presentation just like I'm doing now on a tool called Screencastify. Remember, the free version allows you to have about 5 minutes worth of recording. If you want something bigger, you might want to choose a tool like Screencastify, Loom, even QuickTime if you have a Mac. The other thing you could do too is post your materials, post your videos, post your notes, post physical notes, take a picture of those notes and put it on Google Classroom. That digital copy, one, is accessible anywhere, but you can also use some of the features on your device to be able to zoom in, zoom out, highlight, add notes, annotations, etc. Periodic pauses are great as well for reflection, giving students a time to just get it and to put it into their own words and comprehend it differently. The Q&A feature on Google Slides is another game changer as well, where you can actually go right up here and you can go in presenter view, or I can just simply go right to my presentation and turn on what is called the Q&A feature. The Q&A feature will allow students to be able to go and ask questions in real time. So I just hit start new, and then I can go ahead and I'm accepting questions right now. I'll just jump over to my slide, and you can go ahead and type in that address at the top, and you can ask questions as a student. To go and see what students had said, you can simply go right here, and then you can turn it off at any time. So that Q&A feature is a really helpful tool for students to ask questions, or even for that periodic pausing. Pear Deck and Nearpod are game changers as well. You can actually go to their add-ons right here and add them into that particular format. It allows it to become more of an interactive type of presentation. If you go to Pear Deck for Google Slides, that add-on, this will automatically convert it. And Nearpod has the same thing, where it will convert your Google Slideshow presentation into a Nearpod. Those features are great for hands-on learners and learners who you need to have content on their own device for their own experience. There's another thing too, is you can actually share a copy of your presentation with students, and that's one way to be helpful. But another thing that you could potentially do is share a published copy of the presentation. So going up to File and going to Publish to the Web, this will allow you to publish your presentation, and students can then access this link and they can see the presentation and click on any hyperlinks right away. Now you may be saying, well, why would you want to do that versus sending a regular presentation? Let me just share with you why. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose this link right here for Screencastify. If you give this presentation to students in this particular form, when they click on here, they may actually have an additional click that they have to go to. Having it in that published form is going to negate that extra click and make it a little bit more accessible for students There you go. You can click on this. It's also great for the other, the last item that I have on the list right here, and that is embedding video. So I can go through and I can embed video into my presentation here from Google Slides or YouTube. It's great. So you're probably familiar with that. One of the things that I can do is, let's say, for instance, I want to do something on fractions. Okay, so I'm going to do this video right here on fractions, and I can put in the video. I'm going to just change the background of my slide because, the slide layout right here can be a little distracting as well. Design can also be a distraction. I can click on here, and then I can actually automatically play, or I can start at a certain time if I'd like, so that students can see. So when they go into this presentation, if they have the published view, remember, they're going to see this. They can go, and it'll take them right to this next slide. So that could be a helpful tool. And the last thing that you could do too is, when you're sharing this interactive copy with students, you could also embed audio from Mote. So Mote right here is a recording application that you can use to embed audio right into your presentation. Now, the free version only allows you to have about 20 30-second recordings per month, so you may be a little bit limited on there. And there are other applications that do the exact same thing. So if you don't like Mote, you could use something else. I'm going to just use Mote right here. And how can I make my presentations more accessible to students? We could use guided notes, a live note taker, and all these other options. So there I go. This actually saves on Google Drive, and then I can embed it. It's going to embed in my presentation. Now, one of the things I like about this is that, I'm going to go ahead and select that. Once I embed this presentation into my presentation, I can once again go right here, and I can say, okay, when do I want this to start playing? I can say automatically. So I can go ahead and hit automatically. When students receive the published version of this presentation, and how can I make my presentations more accessible to students? See, they can go there, or you can have it where they click on it and they listen to audio. So it allows you to have some accessible options, so that it is not a one-size-fits-all presentation, but it allows students to be able to universally, to be universally designed for students to be able to access. So, hey, if you have other ideas, I'd love to hear it in the comments section, and happy presenting.